It isn't funny, Wonka.
Cable, print, and big tech. The media lies all day. Lie harder, lie faster.
How are we supposed to know what the truth is anymore?
Truth is irrelevant. Obfuscation is key.
Is it all fake news, Wonka?
They think I'm gonna be sick.
Oh, now he's brought up the black homosexual.
Banjo! Ah! Now I am gonna be sick.
It's the DMC's pool boy.
Ah!
All our people up on your college campuses, Ben. Let's cry.
Slowly telling which lies they will be spreading. There's no knowing where they're going.
He's singing now.
Or who they're deplatforming. Are they lying or just bending? Doesn't matter once it's trending. Ha ha! Not a shred of truth is showing from the investigations ongoing. Are the overlords still eyeing, accusing the president of spying? Yes! The content they keep demonetizing for big tech keeps on lying, but we're certainly not crying because through Moth Club they are dying! Stop! Hot!
Woo. Can you see that steam going?
No.
Ooh. No, you can't. I guess you can't. Hey, I forgot. I had forgotten how creepy the Willy Wonka film is.
It is.
I mean, not only is it terrible, and I used to do a whole bit on it, and then John Mulaney did a very similar bit. Not saying he ripped it off, but I would do it for years. So we all know about the grandparents and how awful they are, and the fact that there was basically child slave labor for years, and then all of a sudden with some free chocolate bars, the grandfather can walk. What a piece of crap! But Willy Wonka, that man needs to be in prison.
Yes.
Oh, you ate the gum when I told you not to, so now I'm killing you.
Well, all the test candy just hurts children.
Yeah, that's all it is.
Yeah.
And he's poisoning it.
Yes, every time.
Oh, if you drink the soda, you'll go up into the chopper fan. Oh, no! Well, just don't give him soda that sends him to the chopper fan.
Seems pretty simple.
It's almost like it's your factory, and you know exactly what you're doing. All right.
But you have to weed out everyone else.
Yeah.
All the other kids that won a golden ticket.
Yes. Yeah, that's at some point, wasn't this just supposed to be a tour? What?
Yeah. This is like Squid Games.
I wouldn't even want to. I wouldn't even want to leave as a kid with a chocolate factory. I'd be like, I really don't know how to run something like this. I appreciate the offer. I'm 11.
Yeah. I inherited this.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even know. Not to mention, I looked at your sheets, and I mean, just riddled with debt.
Yeah. Wow.
I can't even take out a personal loan. You want me to run a chocolate factory?
I don't want it.
With tiny dwarves?
So I get to kill kids too? Is that
Work
what you're
for
saying?
free?
Yeah, seriously. What I'm supposed to be okay with the fact that you just kidnapped a bunch of pygmies and then you're just going to pass them off to me? Seems to me like you're just looking for a fall guy, Willie. Cruel.
Awesome.
Absolutely
Is
cruel.
that a river of blood? Well, sort of. I call it chocolate.
It's a river of chocolate.
Yes.
Do you have any idea how expensive that is? Do you know what gas is going for right now? Do you know how much more expensive gallons of chocolate in a river, which, by the way, you only set up so that you could drown a child and suck him down a tube?
Yeah.
They're onto my plan. It'll never last. I'd completely forgotten about it until I watched that whole intro. All right.
Yeah, it is terrifying.
So we have a lot to talk about today. This is one thing, and I know it's not okay. People always want, what's trending? What's a hot take? Look, go with me on this. We are going to be talking about and comparing former President Jimmy Carter with former Vice President Joe Biden. And obviously, he's sort of the standard bearer, President Jimmy Carter, for worst president ever. Well, worst post-presidency ever, and then worst president ever. Both. He holds both titles. He's a 2 weight class title holder. And Biden is really, really close, and it's happened really quickly. And some of the comparisons, we're going to try and draw a straight line, not only economically, not only militarily, but are shocking.
Yeah.
So, in other words, if you're watching right now, and your parents most likely remembered Jimmy Carter, this is your Jimmy Carter, and keep in mind, Jimmy Carter led to Ronald Reagan, and we'll get to that. So, my question to you right now, first question of the day is, who do you think is actually worse? Not who do you dislike more. And I'd like to see you comment before we get to this segment, former Vice President Biden or Jimmy Carter, and then after the segment, if your opinion has changed. Shocking.
Former vice president has his eyes on the prize.
Yes, he does.
He's a top contender.
Yeah, he says, Jimmy Carter, hold my beer.
Exactly. Yes.
That's how I feel about it.
Yeah. Is Jimmy Carter? No, yeah. Okay.
Habitat for Humanity.
Yeah, I don't know. He wants you to know that he was a peanut farmer. Like, yeah, he did it for 2 years between 90 years of being a career politician. Oh, we get it. You're a great man. You put a sweater on in the White House.
Yeah, he put a solar panel up, and then Reagan was like, go get that off the roof.
Yeah.
First order of business. Take that down, throw it on him. As
why, President Reagan? Because I'm not a puss.
I don't know. This isn't a big calculator, and it's 1980.
Yeah. Unless you can spell boobs up on that thing.
Which you can't. I tried.
Yeah.
Nancy's there with her crystal ball. Let me try. Okay.
The Ouija board.
Also, unless we let you know, look, that we are not doing a show, because sometimes we just get banned from YouTube. What is it happened 6 times in the last year now for 2 week suspensions?
Something like that.
Monday through Thursday, 10 a.m. Eastern. You can watch us on Mug Club, louderwithcrowder.com/Mug Club. It's 69 for students, veterans, military. We're going to do an extra hour of show today. And, of course, Rumble. Rumble, the free show is on Rumble.
Boom.
Nothing would make me happier than to never have to stream on YouTube again.
Just imagine what truth we could actually speak.
Yeah. Well, people who subscribe to Mug Club know.
They do.
Just yesterday, the facts we were spitting on Siegfried and Roy. Boy,
Wow.
Totally true.
hold on to your butts.
Actually, completely true.
Yeah, 100% true. He was killed. He was offed. He was offed by the guy. He was Siegfried, whichever one, Siegfried or Roy, who was killed by the tiger, was killed by the other lover. The point is, go watch it yesterday. We had a Venn diagram. Before we get to that, Gerald A., how are you, sir?
I am well. How are you?
I'm okay. And Dave Landau, you know him, you love him, follow him on Twitter, @Landau Dave. How are you, sir?
Ahoy, good. How about you?
Little concerned, but, if we need a sticker on the thing, but we'll talk about that later.
Oh, this?
Yeah.
It's not. It's the off-brand.
It's the off-brand, yes.
It's reverse.
Polo Association.
Yes, it's the
whatever
outlet.
that one is.
You're actually one of the few non-billionaires who plays polo.
Oh, yes, that's true. I do play. Water polo, mainly.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Marco Polo, really.
Yeah, really. And honestly, you cheat.
Yes.
He cheats.
Yeah, I
we
do.
have to cover his face in a wet bandage just so he doesn't look. And then it's a hazard. He drowns like all the women in,
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Yes. Okay, so before we get to that, though, here's something. This is we want to watch this. This is the state of insanity in our country. A little bit of a palate cleanser. No. Before this,
Is it really?
I was bitching on Monday or Tuesday that gas went from $3.69 to $3.89 overnight. Remember?
Yeah.
Well,
It was $4.09 on the way in here.
Yeah.
you
It's,
found
like
it for
the cleaner.
$4.09?
it's like $5
Yeah.
now for a premium.
Yeah.
I saw it higher.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought
it
I
is
saw
higher.
409 yesterday, and I think it's a little higher today.
And the problem is I drive a relatively large vehicle, so I keep it's like trying to pick a stock where I'm like, well, I don't want to fill up now. It has to go down at some point. And I'm like, damn it, I should have bought yesterday.
No, it's just going up.
Yeah, and then you're on the side of the road without gas.
What goes up
yeah.
must come. It's still going up.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Or ups.
All right. So anyway, I'm angry.
Really?
Yeah, I'm mad about a lot of. I'm mad about the state of the country. I hurt my knee, but mainly the country. So
I feel like it's the opposite.
no, it really is. It's not. It's the country.
Oh, I got you.
I give too much. That's the problem.
And they just take.
Give.
Just take.
Boom.
I'm going to be like a podling on the soul chair by the end of this. You see what you're doing to me? All right. Let's go to the state of this country as a palate cleanser. This lunatic interpretive dancer, which is not a thing despite them trying to make it a thing. It just means they couldn't make the dancing cut. Actually has a point.
Who do you think runs the world? Girls! No, not even close. Since the 1970s, two corporations have gobbled up most of the Earth's companies. Vanguard and BlackRock. So we have a monopoly inside of a monopoly.
What the hell am I watching?
Vanguard and BlackRock own Coke and they own Pepsi. They own Apple and they
You're watching
own
Mary
Android,
Catherine Gallagher get less
i.e.
sexy.
Microsoft. They own American Airlines, they own Delta. They own oil and they own solar. Call me a dingleberry, but if you own all the competing companies in the free market, then I don't think the market is all that free.
Okay, thing is, she's insane, but she's actually right. That's the tipping point in the country when all the crazy people are correct.
Yeah.
It's like a psychic finally getting the name right when they've said like 9 B's, like Barry, Bruno, Bob. That's it.
How did you know?
Yeah.
She looks familiar, though.
Yeah, you were saying Mary Catherine
Gallagher.
Gallagher,
Looks
right?
like her,
yeah.
yeah.
Do you have that
Finger
there?
might-
He flashed it. You know.
Finger
Did he flash it?
Yeah,
I don't think he flashed it.
He did.
I thought it was. See, I actually thought it was Vera DeMilo.
Oh,
Girls, are you ready? All righty. Let's start with a stretch.
that's her.
And down. Okay, now you try. See how those big breasts just weigh them down?
He was hilarious in his prime, and today he would consider that sketch cruel.
Yes.
And unusual.
Very funny at one time.
It was very fun. No one was more aware of their physical body in space than Jim Carrey.
Oh, no.
Unbelievable at
Yeah.
physical comedy.
And now he's completely unaware of
Anything.
space, body, time.
Well, he's almost as certifiable as that broad in the
Yes.
interpretive dance video. But here's the thing, she's not completely wrong. So let me give you a little recap here of what she said. Or, you know what, let me give you some substantiation because she doesn't provide her references like we do at letterscutter.com. $34 trillion in assets are managed by 5 companies. That's Vanguard, BlackRock, State Street, Fidelity, and Capital Group. That's around 1.5 times the United States GDP. BlackRock alone, these are the people who've been buying up all of these homes, right?
Yeah.
That's why the housing market is not an actual market. They want to create a permanent class of renters. They are screwing you out of purchasing a home. Anyone out there who owns a home, you know what? You can comment below. How many offers have you gotten on your house? I know I have.
Yeah.
Way above asking price
lot.
or market value. It's not coming from a person. It's coming from a company like BlackRock. So these 5 companies do run way more of your life than is appropriate. Now, before you say, oh, see, that's a problem with capitalism. No. That can't happen without the interference of government.
Yeah.
And don't worry, there to fix it is socialist for the little guy, Elizabeth Warren, who believes that BlackRock needs to be designated. And keep in mind what this means. It means bailed out with your tax dollars. BlackRock, according to Warren, needs to be deemed too big to fail.
Designation is what gives the Fed its increased oversight power. Is that correct? Is that correct?
Yes.
And is BlackRock currently designated so that it receives that increased oversight?
It isn't designated, but I think it's important to understand.
So that means it is not receiving the increased oversight from the Fed. So my question is, are you currently looking at designation for companies like BlackRock, $9 trillion companies like this? When the party is going strong, it's the job of the regulators to take away the punch bowl.
Okay. So here's the thing. She believes, and this is the current Democratic Party, that it's worth it with more regulation and more oversight. Well, what does that come with? That comes with shackles. That comes with never-ending supplies of tax dollars. You know who needs more oversight? Big banks. Oh, you nary a bailout in their history. You know who needs more oversight? Airlines. You know who needs more oversight? Health insurance companies.
Auto.
All of these auto manufacturers. Yeah. They all eventually get bailed out by you, the American taxpayer. So you get screwed in the housing market, then you get screwed when they screw you out of the housing market and they can't pay their bills. You get screwed 3 or 4 times. There you go, but it's worth the oversight. Kind of like gas prices.
But if you want to own a home now, you have to be at least $500,000, and your car is $80,000.
Yeah.
Well,
It's really good. It's the American dream.
No, I don't care if you have a nice car right now. You need to go sell it and get an electric one and spend more money.
Yeah.
Correct.
Well, that's why I said 80,000.
Oh, yeah. Well, some people have 80,000 cars right now, $80,000 cars.
80,000 cars. I'm like, yeah,
cars.
Jay Leno and
What are you,
no one else.
A Sultan?
Yeah, just
you
Jay
know?
Leno.
Just Jay Leno.
Which I only did with my stand-up money. Yeah, no one cares. You should spend all the money you make.
I'm not want to spend my lightning money because I can always go back to stand-up. Did you see my $9 million for...
Spot on.
God.
It's sufferable, but much better than the current host.
And no one hates me more than I hate me.
Anyway, okay.
Keep hating.
So here's something that is happening internationally, though, and you should know about this. I'm surprised I haven't covered this more in the media. Okay.
Are you really?
As soon as the words left my mouth, I wanted to punch myself. Yesterday, a conservative candidate in South Korea. Is it Yoon Suk Yeol? Yoon Suk Yeol.
Sounds pretty good, yeah.
I'm saying it the English way because I'm American. Elected as the new South Korean president. So a conservative can't, which makes sense because conservatives are harder on North Korea.
Yeah.
If you actually look
Should
at that.
be.
Right. These people actually can look across the fence, and it's like communist Wilson.
Yeah, it's like,
Yes.
you want to kill us. Got
Right.
it.
So wanting to send a message. So that's what actually happened. And, okay, we can talk about that more next week. The funny part is North Korea released a statement and photos of Kim Jong-un inspecting the country's space agency. This is like they have.
What?
Look at this. Look at this. Look at what he's doing right there. I love that he's 5'0" and his pants are still too short.
Amazing. He should have a tailor by now, you'd assume.
Right. It's
Like kills him.
And he's trying to do with the
gang.
hair. It's like he's trying to do James Dean, but didn't quite get it right. Do we have that? That's what he's trying to do.
Yeah.
The hair and the jacket. You're tearing me apart.
Put my collar down.
Oh.
He's got the cigarette in his hand. Like, I'm cool.
What are vipers?
Was that lower? He's dressed there. Can we bring it back up? Kim Jong-un, bring him back up. Look at that. He's going like a greaser. It's like Lower East Side Story.
Right there. It reminds me a bit of Donnie Brasco. It's like, this is Sonny Brack. I'm Sonny Rice.
I'm here to see if these satellites are real or fugazis.
It's Reservoir Year of the Dragon.
Yeah. Say hello to my middling, very average friend.
What do you mean, funny? Like a crown? Do I amuse you? Ping, pow, boom, ping.
Leave the gun, take a fortune cookie.
Take off your shoes. It's their culture. I ain't taking off my shoes for me.
I'm taking my shoes off for nobody.
By the way, he gained all that weight back.
Did he?
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he is a little bit chubby now.
Oh, I guess those
think of
austerity measures never kicked in
well,
I just can't believe he's smoking. I've never seen an Asian man do that.
No, I can't
well,
believe it.
It's unhealthy, unless you're
Well,
him.
it doesn't really. Yeah, if you're a god,
Yeah,
he's immortal. Don't you know the first time he played golf, he got
18 holes in one.
No, he got like 12 holes in one.
Oh, come on.
Because it would
Everything's
be
perfect.
unbelievable if he said 18.
Yeah.
What a silly.
Really?
When you're trying to convince,
Like, how do I convince people that I'm a living deity? Like, 12 holes in one?
Did you watch that? What was that movie with Ray Romano and Gene Hackman where he's the president and they keep throwing the ball out of the woods?
Moosehead or something? Welcome to
Like he
Moosehead?
watched that and he's like, that's how I want to play golf.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, a hole in two maybe, but just a couple.
Yeah, just a couple. I still under par. Even if it wasn't one hole in one, I'm still scratch.
He's lighting up
actually,
cool.
It was really, you're really close. It was 11 holes.
11
Wow.
holes in one on his first time.
Which no,
Wow.
How useless is this? How useless is this knowledge? Why do I retain that?
I don't
it's
know.
hilarious
There's something important you're forgetting because of that now.
because it's shocking how stupid someone
My
can
kid's
be.
birthday.
yeah. I don't know, Dad.
Which
when
means
was I
two?
born? 11 holes in one. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just why would anyone believe that? Well, because he'll kill them if they don't.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Smoke.
kill them.
Sitting there. Just bring it up one more time. Just bring up the picture of Kim Jong-un one more time. It's just so funny that they're like, oh, no, we're in trouble. And I think someone's going to be hard on us. Quick, bring out the bomber jacket.
Yes. Yeah, it actually this all turns into a breakdown.
Yeah, exactly.
It just
Breaks down
completely
cardboard.
sinks. Yeah.
What is this, Anchorman? And they're about to get into the fight in the alley?
And he can't
Yeah.
do the spin, so people just grab him by his feet.
All right, we go clockwise, counterclockwise. We should have planned.
My mother was a saint.
So the thing is with things heating up with North Korea, you never know. This is true. You never know when Kim might decide that it's the perfect time to unleash one of his nukes. Okay, well, maybe not so. This just brings back to light more so that Russia has nukes that might actually function.
Right.
So there's no better time. Look, a lot of you don't realize that the stuff can happen, okay? And you need to be prepared. There's no better time to prepare than now.
What the hell are you doing, man?
Oh, thank you for asking. I'm saving your life. There's aliens outside.
Oh, that's good. So you're crazy and you have me in a... This is a bunker?
Yes, a bunker. No, I'm not crazy. Crazy would be building the Ark after the floods come.
Are you gonna take advantage of me?
I already did that hours ago when you were asleep.
That would explain the pain. Would you please just let me go?
I could let you go, but the aliens will kill you. How about you stay for dinner?
I'm a little less worried about the aliens and more worried about you touching me when I'm asleep.
There are aliens, and I have bunker food.
Oh, good. Bunker food. Great. Bunker food's gross. I don't want that.
At least try it. It's Ready Hour from My Patriot Supply. This is not just some run-of-the-mill bunker food. This is the real deal. If you don't like it, I'll let you go.
You'll let me go if I don't like your bunker food? All right. Are you serious?
Deal's a deal.
Okay. This is marvelous.
Right?
Am I eating in a restaurant?
Thank you.
Where's the maitre d'?
Exactly.
Wow. You know what? I think I will stay a while.
Good. Why don't you get some more sleep?
You got it.
I always like a happy ending.
It is,
too,
yeah.
yeah.
Glad they got.
Unlike Willy Wonka, where it's just the death of whatever 9 children and one who's grossly unqualified now manages foodstuffs, which is going to kill more children. It's like, yeah, Willy Wonka 2, Listeria.
3 billion in debt being hoarded off on a little kid.
Good luck working it off.
But seriously, though, you guys can go to prepwithcrowder.com and you get $50 off a 4-week emergency food kit. Kick Kim Jong-un to the curb. Just be ready. $50 off prepwithcrowder.com. And you know what? I've talked about this before, too. You don't have to be a doomsday prepper. I lived through the ice storm in Montreal, and we didn't have any food. So I always have just at least 4 weeks. I typically have like 3 months of emergency food, water, and like a little kind of, whatever you call it, like a gas burner.
Yeah.
It's a good idea to have. You guys have now lived through the pandemic. You see what's... I don't think Russia's going to do anything here in the United States, especially if we step off. But it's always a good idea anyway to be prepared. Okay. Yeah. Speaking of prepared, seems like society at large wasn't prepared for the experiment that was the vaccine. I don't give a rat's ass if I get kicked off YouTube today or if I get screw you.
Well, you're only using facts,
yes.
Remember?
So I don't. Do you remember the FDA actually? They said that they would need 75 years to redact and release documents on their conversations with Pfizer.
Yeah, I think Pfizer was pushing that information too.
Right.
Like, hey, just don't release this for, like ever. JFK's information, we'll have that before.
Right. We'll have the JFK. Well, look, spoiler alert, it was Ted Cruz's dad.
Well, we know that now.
Well,
I mean,
it took a month to get the vaccine. It takes you 75 years to get the
Well, there's a lot of paperwork,
Dave. About it.
There's a lot of do you have all those Sharpies?
So this just happened, I think, yesterday. The FDA was ordered to release 10,000 pages on the first of every month. And this happened, or whatever, first of every month. Okay. Yeah. So March saw the first release of these documents.
Oh, good.
So let me give you some highlights here on the vaccine and some of the results. This is just from December 2020 to February 2021.
The rollout.
I don't know if you can do the math. That's not a lot of months. 42,000 people were confirmed to have over 158,000 adverse reactions. That's over 1,200 fatalities. And this is from only a couple of months that they really, really didn't want to release.
Wow.
So people were having like 2 and 3 adverse reactions.
Yes.
If I'm clear on math.
42,000 people, but 158,000 adverse reactions
to it over a 3-month period.
Yeah.
Huh. Oh. That seems significant. I saw that on CNN probably during that time if we went back in the Wayback Machine and looked.
Well, and let's, for example, when people often now say, well, the booster, you have to get a flu shot every year, right? So that's what it's being compared to now, even though it's an mRNA. It's not the same thing as a vaccine.
Actually, you don't have to. People just scream at you.
Yes, exactly. Doesn't mean it's legitimate,
right?
Again, but I'm a people pleaser.
Well, no,
so I say let's go with that.
You're a man of the people.
Let's go with the flu vaccine. Let's compare it. There were 4,500 adverse events in 20 months with the flu shots, not fatalities. So 158,000 adverse reactions from December to February with COVID. 20 months. 4,500. That's 4,500 to 150-something thousand.
Wow.
Now, here's the thing. How many of Well, this is something that's interesting, too, if you look at the chart. I don't know if you can bring this up. One of my researchers found this. This is out of how many vaccines, too, right? You would want to say, well,
you would need
the
to
reactions out of how many vaccines, so that gives you a percentage.
Could be 1 million.
From December 2020 to February 2021. That information is redacted, so we don't know the total number of vaccines. We have no idea as to what percentage of administered vaccines resulted in these 40-something thousand people, 150-something thousand adverse events. Now, I'm not saying that means you're likely to have a bad reaction, but it's not outside the realm of possibility. 158,000 is not a mundane detail, Michael.
Well, it would be helpful to know so that we could go, oh, yeah, no, that's no problem at all. Why would you redact it? Like, what's the...
Well, it's just slightly less than most of them.
Right, yes. Just slightly less than all of the other months.
Well...
Or knowing the total number of vaccines.
Yes, that's fine.
It's like, hold on a second. This is the question that needs to be asked. If you know how many adverse reactions have occurred, and by the way, you're only releasing this because you were ordered to, why do you not know how many vaccines were administered? It's almost like you would know that number first as a baseline because you're injecting people.
I want to invent a drug and just go to the FDA and go, now listen, it's only killed almost 50,000 people.
Right.
And they're going to
1,200. What is it? 1,200?
Yeah.
The adverse reactions, I mean, come on.
50,000 adverse reactions, 12,000 are dead. So what do you think? Put it on the market?
How do you feel about no legal liability? Sold.
Done.
You're a tough negotiator.
What is it?
I hear no liability, no liability. I hear 158,000 reactions, 158,000 reactions. Only December 3rd, February. So
we will
those killers.
Fund and buy all of the shots you produce.
Yes,
that's
yes.
You get to keep the profit.
The FDA is the movie Casino where they keep taking the application, putting it on the bottom of the pile.
Yeah,
that's all it is.
Well, the problem is with the FDA, then you have other drugs that have been sitting on the shelf for a decade because they don't have the right lobbyists. They don't have someone who's powerful in Washington, D.C. And I think that people should I think people should have the right to take medication that may harm them. I think it's the government's job to make sure that people know the risk they're taking.
Yeah.
The job of the government is very simple. It's to keep the people safe from external and internal threats. That's a legitimate purview of government. That means things like wars if we're invaded. That means making sure that nobody internally is abusing our system, which could cause irreparable harm, particularly physical harm to other citizens. So it's the government's job to say, all right, look, this can hurt you. Whether it's a vaccine, whether it's a chemo drug, whether it's Tylenol. The point is that's a legitimate role of theirs. Okay? They shouldn't be able to tell you that you can't put something in your body if you want to take that risk. They're doing the exact opposite, where they're not letting you know the risk, and they are forbidding you from taking drugs should you want to take that risk. And by the way, we know that there's this redaction in here. It's based on these federal exemptions from the FOIA request, FOIA request for people who don't know. So, in other words, the government isn't even requiring of them the one thing that government should require of them.
Transparency.
Yeah, transparency.
Yes. That would be very nice.
I'm not asking that you ban the vaccine. I'm just asking that you make sure we know how people are reacting to it.
Right.
At what point is it not crazy for someone to say, like, I don't know if I want to take the risk. Oh, you're one of those conspiracy. 158,000 in 3 months. 158,000 in 3 months. I don't think that's insane.
Yeah. Well, it's Stephen. I think the one that they selected is that this would hurt our stock price. Therefore, we need to redact it.
Yes.
So that's I mean, don't quote me on that. I'm just an inference.
I just wish
I
could
guessing. Of
yeah.
what happened.
If I was going to wager against.
Yeah. If you had hindsight of right now.
You know.
Yeah. I wish I could just go before a court or a judge and then say, did you, I don't know, did you run this car off the road and shoot this pedophile on, whatever, February 22nd? As I'm using Cain Velasquez as an example, but I'm putting in the first-person perspective. Right. And I would say, you know what? I think that might hurt my stock value in the community, and so I choose to redact that information. Good enough for me.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Your Honor,
Not
there's a
guilty.
video of it, but we're actually going to gray out the person so you can't see who it is.
And he's like, wait a second.
That seems important.
No, we can't do that. You're not BlackRock. You actually have to obey the law.
You go to jail. We just bought your house.
Yes.
Yeah.
By bought, I mean stole, but,
Yeah,
you knew that.
Whatever it is.
Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah. It'll be way more if you ever want it back.
You know what? Just because I don't like you, I'm going to rent it out to a pedophile. It'll be like a battered women's shelter only for the pedophiles.
I call it the Red Dot Street.
Yeah.
Everybody gets one.
Yep. And wait, you know what? Just to rub salt in the wound, it's now a Ronald McDonald House. How do you feel about that?
Oh, come on.
No, the pedophiles are still there.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's sort of a hybrid Red Dot pedophile / Ronald McDonald House.
Ronald's son lives upstairs.
Yeah.
It's a real creep.
At least he did until Willy Wonka killed him. All right.
Yeah.
Gave him gum.
Yeah, that's all he did. Why are you licking the wallpaper?
Yeah.
It's rude.
Why are you licking the schnozberry? All right, here's something else too. Tess Holliday, and then we're going to get to Biden versus Carter. But this is just. What do you think? What do you think the founding fathers would think looking at this country? And you'll understand once I show this stupid thing. We just talked about Pfizer and vaccines. We talked about gas prices. Okay, we've talked about 1.5 times the United States GDP being managed or run assets under the purview of 5 companies and them being too big to fail. We're going to talk about Biden and Carter and the single biggest intrusions in our economy that we've seen in modern American life. And all of that's bad. But this is really bad. So Tess Holliday went on Tamron Hall's show to, it's another example of truth doesn't matter. To talk about her, now in case you're going before we run the clip, Tim the Toolman, because people are going to make an assumption. Mm-hmm. Tess Holliday went on this show to disclose and sort of help the public talk about her struggle with anorexia. And I know what you're saying. Oh, I must be thinking of the wrong Tess Holliday. No, you're thinking of the exactly correct Tess Holliday. And yes, she claims to be anorexic. Here you go.
I was like, I'm fat. Like when you think of the term anorexia, you associate it with emaciated bodies. Like you said earlier,
Weight
when
loss.
you have so many people saying things to you online, I'm tough as nails, but it gets to you, and you kind of I would be lying if I said that it didn't affect me. And so
like your
when
blood
I
sugar
hear
levels?
people saying all you do is eat and you
I feel like
eat,
that's
it's
not
like
the
you
usual
almost
couch.
believe it even though I know I'm not. So it was extremely isolating. It was lonely.
You can never be that lonely.
I will
People
say
get pulled
that
into
getting
orbit.
a diagnosis does feel wonderful. I just
Just
take
one
it
squiggle from
day
being
by
the
day.
tampon show.
Like today, I tried to feed myself. Didn't do that great. And
You
like
did very
one
well.
of your guests
Yeah, I
said
think you
earlier,
did your best.
I just try to be
She
gentle
tried.
with myself. Plus size or not, everybody deserves food. Everybody deserves to eat.
Yeah, but there needs to be a cap.
We deserve to take care of ourselves.
And we deserve to live without judgment.
We do.
Yeah, you know what? If her body could talk, she's like, we deserve to take care of ourselves. The body's like, I know! Stop! Stop!
I love the host. We deserve to live without judgment. Well, that's the whole point. We're trying to stop you from becoming
You
Tess
don't
Holliday.
deserve to live with lying. Look,
Yeah.
you're like, I know most people think that anorexia is an eating disorder where either you lose too much weight or you lose too much weight too quickly. That's what anorexia is. Now
It's malnutrition of your entire body.
Right.
You got hair falling out. It's very sad to just try to slowly walk onto
Yes.
the bandwagon.
Right.
Waddle.
Be craned
I would now
onto
like to
the
change the
bandwagon.
definition of anorexia to include this. Well, when do doctors just say no?
Yeah.
No, you don't get to do that. Why? Because that's what anorexia is. You're the opposite of that.
When to visit them, they have to take out a wall in your house.
Yes.
Yeah. You know what would have been helpful when you were younger, and instead of hearing that it's okay to be you, all shapes and sizes, you deserve, if you'd have heard somebody say, hey, you need to work out, you need to be careful because this is going to be a problem for you. You're going to continue to get bigger if you just keep eating. Don't listen to these people that say it's totally fine and totally healthy, which is exactly what we're doing and why we bring this up.
Yeah.
So this doesn't happen to another person.
Well, we
again
used
and
to
again and
acknowledge
again.
this universally. I can't believe I'm saying this because I'm actually implying that she serves a useful purpose. Can someone get Michelle Obama in there with the Let's Move campaign?
She was right, though. I mean,
Yeah, she was right about that.
she says it, and then it's fine.
Now she'd be like, well, I don't mean to pass judgment. Look, the problem here is, A, you're diminishing, right, people with actual anorexia. Okay, it's a problem, and it is a problem that requires care and help. By the way, the care that someone with anorexia would require is not the same as you would. Okay, just to be clear. Also, it's wrong to tell people that all body types are healthy. I'm not saying that you can't have different body types, of course, but there's a pretty wide spectrum that fits within the parameters of health. Do we really not see how this ends up generationally? The problem there's no one there to say no. Right? It's yes, and I was anorexic. Yes, and I really had to make sure, I had people. You probably cut out any of your friends who told you you're not anorexic, and that's why you're still allowed to go around saying you're anorexic, because that host didn't. You know what the host's response should have been? Huh? No one's gonna say that?
I just figuring out what kind of host.
Well, typically you.
Something's wrong with me.
I think we're missing the elephant in the room, Stephen.
Name that movie line. I know Dave.
Sliver. Oh, sorry. Sorry, I didn't know it was for the audience.
Admonish him.
I thought we were
Admonish
playing a game with each other. I'm sorry. I don't feel so.
Do it now. I must be anorexic.
That whole movie, tragic, true story of anorexia.
Yes.
Yeah.
What were you saying, Joe?
I said you were talking about her response, and she's like, "I think we're skipping over the elephant in the room."
The hostess.
No, but there's a big problem. I know it's kind of funny. It's like the problem isn't that you just eat too much. The problem is that you think that was a healthy lifestyle for so long and you didn't make a change to it. And that's sad for people, but you have to be honest about it. And you have to call it out and say, look, the problem is that you're not eating right now. And of course you deserve to eat.
You know what
you
these
can't eat.
You know what these people never do? You know what these people never do? And what do I mean by these people? I mean grossly overweight people who want to tell you that it's healthy.
Right.
No one's picking on chubby people here. What I mean is grossly overweight people who also, not ironically, just entirely predictably believe in socialized health care.
Yeah.
And that you shouldn't be denied for pre-existing conditions, even one that's how about a pre-existing condition that's entirely preventable? How about that? You know what these people never do? They never provide you with a calorie log. They never provide you with food in and exercise. They always tell you, and I exercise and I eat healthy, and well, then you are a miracle of science.
We just don't know what to do.
And they paint themselves into an octagonal corner when they say, and everything else is fine, I don't have anything wrong with me. Well, then what's...
I'm stumped.
Yes. We are all stumped. It would be one thing if you said, I have a thyroid condition, which still wouldn't... I mean, look, a lot of people have thyroid conditions. That's not just glandular.
Her body treats kale as sugar.
Yes.
It's just how it is.
Yes. It's obesity Eucharist.
That is if somebody there weighed like 75 pounds and was dying and was like, well, I'm morbidly obese, and we all just played along.
Yes.
It's crazy that anybody just sits there and goes, yeah, you are anorexic. People need food. We should clap.
We should clap.
That's a good point.
You're just like that Carpenter singer. Whoa, you suffer from the same affliction.
That's weird.
Yeah. Remember when they were saying that doctors shouldn't go to
you
your
and
weight
Mama
being
Cass
a contributing problem, right? Doctors are like,
hold
we
on,
can't
pause.
have doctors.
We're going to need to fire Dave because I was literally about this. This is 2 times in the same
joke,
the exact same thing.
Ham
Mama
sandwich.
Cass. I was like right away. Okay. It's scary. Go ahead.
No, I already said it. It's like doctors can't even ask you about your weight being a problem when you come in and like, yeah, just generally don't feel good. Okay, well, let's start with I don't know where to start. I can't say the thing that's obvious.
Well, I can't even have you fill out a questionnaire that includes. Think about it. It's age. That's rude to ask a woman. Okay, sex. You really want to go down that route? Wait. You know what?
Never mind.
Just do it. Here's a bunch of pills.
Good luck.
Good luck.
There's only 3 spaces for numbers.
Yeah. And seats on the couch. There were.
Yeah. Do you have love
This
seats?
a Russian couch?
Yeah. What kind of stupid chair is this? It's a gigantic pull-out sofa.
Yes. It's what we use to transport whales from. It's a horizontal hammock, really.
It's how they get them back in the ocean.
Yeah. I want a love seat. By that I mean seats I love, and the seats I love have 9 seats.
So bad.
Really more of a day bed. Oh, God. So, all right, we're going to start talking about... it's just none of this matters. This is the issue. The key issue of our time is truth and the media. The media is just as complicit, and big tech, with the freest and fairest and most secure election in history. You know who disagrees with that? Jimmy Carter. Just like they're complicit with Russian pissing tapes on President Trump, which they've now admitted. Project Veritas just did a segment on that. I think we'll maybe bring it up next week. It doesn't exist, and the media's been complicit. It's being complicit in a lie, just like they are when they say yes, you're healthy. Also, well, you're not. You're anorexic, but now you're healthy. Good, great. You're lying to people and you're killing them. Do you hear that? That's the sound of Tess Holliday dying as we speak, and you're doing nothing, and you're telling more kids, hey, it's the equivalent to telling kids to light up.
Well, we did that for a while. How'd that work?
Yeah, we did that. Now we're just replacing that with Lil Debbie's.
We got people walking around, thanks, it was a great decision.
It's not good when your urn needs pallbearers.
Yes. I'm thinking of actual pallbearer. And when Tess Holliday
He can be there.
The Undertaker would have to be lifting it. Come on,
Yeah,
the little guy's not holding that one.
Yeah, they'd have
No,
to
that's
use the
true.
Owen Hart harness
Yeah, they'd be.
with better.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So look, hey, that was not a slight to Owen Hart.
No,
No.
of course not.
No.
Look, Dave and I, loudwithcrowder.com/tour. If you are watching and you like what you see, you can see more of this and worse live with Dave and I. Stand up and then also some duo act. See, so May 14th we will be in Tulsa, Oklahoma. That's almost sold out. And big news, we just added another show in Colorado Springs for June 18th.
Boom.
Or we are adding
The tickets are going to go on sale very soon.
Very
so
soon.
We're adding it right
This
now.
weekend.
It'll be updated. Check back on the website for that.
So stop complaining. We hear you. Okay.
And I got a little solo thingy going on. In
Oh, yeah, it's
Waukegan.
And Joliet,
It's
Illinois.
Waukegan?
Yeah.
In Joliet, Illinois.
Is it Joliet or Juliet?
Juliet. I always think
Juliet.
Julia Jake from Blues Brothers. I assume it's the same thing because it's outside of Chicago, right?
Her name's going to be Julia Gulia.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Julia
Not
Gulia.
really.
All right.
I like The Wedding Singer.
I like
No,
that.
it's a great movie.
It's a great film.
All right, shut your mouth.
Gerald's more of a Jack and Jill guy.
Oh,
Yeah, he
not.
loves it.
How dare you?
Oh, yes, I'm a woman now, see? Oh, I'm playing a woman character, but by the way, it does the same voice that my Jewish character does and all my other voices and nothing opera.
Toll booth Willie.
I'm Jack and Jilling. All right.
I'm big in China.
Yeah. I'm very big in China. That's why I do 50 movies a year that are basically vacations.
I love that I do love that he goes on vacations with all of his friends on the company's dime.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I do like this romantic comedy, but should it be set on an African safari? Yes, it should, Adam Sandler.
The next Elon Musk space launch is just going to be Adam Sandler, David Spade, and Terry Crews with a GoPro.
Space.
Like, what are they? All right.
Yeah,
It's for the movie.
That's one hell of a licensing deal.
yeah, just what's Kevin James?
Yeah.
Just fitting right into that Farley role.
Okay. So this is something I was going over that. I don't remember exactly when I started going over this, but let me start this off with Jimmy Carter's awful.
Yeah.
Just the pits.
Worst president in history, you say?
Modern American history.
Modern American history for sure.
You go back far enough. I don't know. You go
Probably
to
some-
Woodrow Wilson, and
Yeah.
honestly, I don't really know a whole lot about William McKinley, but I assume he wasn't very good.
Wasn't there one for like a day or a week? Like, what was the shortest run?
No, that was the. You're thinking of the
West Wing.
solar eclipse, and you're actually that was just
Yes.
Tess Holiday on the diving board.
Oh, that was right.
Don't
yes.
look directly at her.
Right, I thought she was the president.
The breaking board.
Yes.
I thought.
Yes. It's like I thought you were on a high dive. I was.
Yeah. Well, I almost got up there.
But you're in the water. Yes.
Oh, that's a high
What-
fall.
How does that happen? Can't you see I'm anorexic?
Oh, that's why all the water is now out of the pool.
Who was that Louis, what's his name, that did the high dive thing when they did Splash with all the things and he like rolled off and that was his dive?
I
Or,
just
no, you're talking about Back to School with Ronnie
Yeah,
Dangerfield.
No.
Dangerfield.
It's not
what
a
I
movie.
thought,
No,
too.
it's a game show. It's Louis something, really, really big comedian guy.
Oh,
Anderson.
Louis Anderson.
Yeah, Louis Anderson.
yeah.
They had a diving show.
on the high dive
Yeah, he got a show, and they were like, "You got to like do a dive," and they actually judge you for it. I don't think it made it more than.
I'm high diving.
Try to find that's pretty
By
hilarious.
the way, William Harrison was president for almost a month, 31 days.
William Harris.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, it was like some insanely
All right.
low number.
all right.
That's right.
Somebody kidnapped his daughter.
Do we all have to act here like we really know a whole lot about William Harrelson? Harrison.
not
William
even the name.
Harrison. I'm
No,
getting
someone
Woody Harrelson.
Someone said this to me once that I half listened to, and then
Yeah.
I regurgitated as if I knew something.
Like me, remembering how many holes in one Kim Jong-un
yes,
got.
there's no reason I should retain that knowledge, but I did.
Look at the big brain on Dave.
But you know what would be
Yeah.
useful? If I could remember how to identify the coral snake versus his imposter. It's something like red next to yellow can kill a fellow, red next to black. The point is, I don't remember it as much as I remember Kim Jong-un's holes in one, so I'm going to die.
Well, if a snake's biting you and you're just thinking about rhymes, you're gonna die.
Yeah. Well, hopefully it's one of those dry bites.
That's what I do with bombs.
Yeah.
Blue wire, Mark McGuire.
Yeah, which, by the way, no more shacks behind the studio.
Deal, I know. I
Okay.
know. Manifesto still okay?
Just no more hoodies and glasses. We'll call it even.
All right.
All right.
Deal.
So Jimmy Carter sucks to begin with. Okay? Marley was dead to begin with. We all know that he was a horrible president, and we all know that he is the reason that Ronald Reagan came in and was one of the most beloved presidents in modern American history, despite not being all that conservative, Ronald Reagan. Okay? There's no hero worship for Ronald Reagan here. I certainly think it was better than Jimmy Carter. Now, This is not just something that I'm saying. I know if you read the New York Times, they now try and sort of be apologists and say, actually, Jimmy Carter wasn't that bad, but that's about as good as they can give you because it's been pretty widely agreed upon that he's been bad. But now, even the media, and not because they're being truthful, but because they're trying to save their own ass, is acknowledging that former Vice President Biden may be inching Carter out.
Americans have lost their confidence in President Biden and their optimism for the country. At least they have right now. Just 22% of adults say we're headed in the right direction. A shocking 71% say we're on the wrong track.
Only 3 in 10 Americans, only 30% say Biden's policies have improved the economy. 45% say they have worsened things.
No wonder the president's approval rating, according to a survey released this week by Quinnipiac University, stands at just 33%.
Confidence in the economy dropped 10 points over the last year to just 33%. That is a major decline from the 68% satisfaction back in 2020.
Before he did
All
anything.
Of this as more than half of Americans think President Biden will go down as one of the worst presidents in American history.
Come on, man. Look at that. That's crazy. That's 11 points more than President Trump.
Oh, well, I guess if he tweeted more, it'd be 12 or 15 points more.
Yeah, that's really,
he'd really be bad.
Yeah. So I'm trying to think here of exactly how to look. I don't put much faith in polls, okay, just to be clear. But the fact is those polls changed dramatically, which means that even if you don't trust polls, you have to acknowledge the media at some point it's either the polls have shifted or the media is going, ooh, we want to distance ourselves from this guy. Either way, objectively, he is doing pretty badly.
Right. So before he was doing anything, we thought 68% thought he was doing good. The minute he started doing stuff, it's like, ooh, that's not so bad. And the minute those things started having the effect on you that they're having now, you're like, oh, crap.
So let's go through a few key details, exactly how they compare. And it's almost a mirroring of Jimmy Carter. And I think this is important because I've talked about this in the past where, especially with millennials, Generation Z, we never really had a Reagan. We never really had a more conservative or limited government president. We had George W. Bush. We had Bill Clinton. We had George W. Bush. We had Barack Obama. They were all relatively similar, right? They were all sort of two sides of the same coin. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Whereas you had a pretty clear contrast with Carter and Reagan. When people say, okay, boomer, keep in mind, this is the flower power generation. They were putting daisies in military rifles, just to be clear. Then they became the most conservative generation, or one of the most conservative generations ever. Why? Because they saw the contrast. Boom. Carter, they said, Reagan, elected him in a landslide, reelected him in a landslide, and then they said, okay, that's the ticket that I want from here on out. This generation hasn't really had that yet, but I think there's a pretty clear contrast now. You had 8 years of Barack Obama. Everyone acknowledges Donald Trump, certainly a different 3 years. I'm not counting that last year because there was an overblown pandemic that came from a bat.
Sorry. Somewhere in the world.
I don't know.
And now we're back to basically the same administration, right? This is the former vice president. So 8 years, 3, and now we're going to have another 4. There's value in that. Now, let's compare Biden to Carter. What do we have? Sky-high gas prices, right? Energy prices overall. Oil is well over $100 a barrel. As of this morning, it's $4.31 is the national average price for a gallon of gas. $4.31, the highest that it has been in this country.
I think it's like 580 something right now in California. The average, I know the highest is like 7 in certain places.
Right.
580 something is the average, I believe, is what I looked at this morning.
Which, by the way, did you see on the Jon Stewart podcast? They were sitting there and they couldn't find an answer. They were saying, "Why do you think that? Why do you think it's so high in so high in California?" And they're like, it's because people have to drive everywhere." Have you heard of Texas?
Yes. By the way, bring that map back up. Look at this map. Look at the places that are highest. Red is the highest, right? The middle of the country there in the conservative places, the lowest. There's a lot of land to cover there.
Which, by the way, is a really shitty map because they're showing the blue states as red.
Yeah, well, yeah.
They're just trying to trick you. That's just a little subtlety there. So this is a direct result, right, with Biden. Of course, we know about Keystone XL, not just Keystone, but Keystone XL. We know about his limiting of drilling here in the United States, no more onshore leases. And of course, look, it's more complicated than how much oil do we have right now. It's a speculative market, but the point is oil is more expensive, and we have a president who wants to transfer us to green energy that just isn't in the cards right now. That's why everything is more expensive. How do you know? Because he said it. Okay. Now, as a result... And this is what I just saw this report this week. And I was going, that's the exact thing. That's the Jimmy Carter thing.
Yeah.
As a result, the media, trying to carry the water for former Vice President Joe Biden, Well, rather than tell you, look, this is a major screw up from this administration, and the 70-something% of you who think that we're worse off are correct, they want you. They want you, not the bourgeoisie, the proletariats. I believe I'm using that correctly. They want you to change your driving habits.
The pain at the pump hitting Americans in the pocketbook.
Yeah, it's stressful. It keeps going up.
Gas prices reaching a record high, an average of $4.17 a gallon. Some tips to keep your wallet from hitting E,
Higher
starting
now.
with the way you drive. AAA says try to group your trips together, accelerate gradually, avoiding jackrabbit starts. Anticipate your stops. When approaching a red light, let your foot off the gas as early as possible. On the interstate, experts recommend reducing your speed.
I just drove back from Tampa to Chicago. I went 68 miles an hour. I got 32 miles a gallon. When I bumped it up 6 miles an hour, it went down to 29 miles a gallon.
And try not to leave your car idling.
Oh, try not to leave it. Hey, how many miles per gallon do I get if I run you reporters over?
Shift into neutral when you hit a hill, and
like flattening you like a penny on a train track.
Learn how to
I don't
drive
mean that figuratively.
Yeah.
You want to do a slow acceleration?
Yeah.
What if I have to go real fast?
I mean, it's not like I'm always just slowly accelerating over your foot. Sometimes I have to get somewhere, figuratively.
I drove a ridiculous amount at 68 miles an hour. Longest drive of my life.
Yes.
Better gas mileage, though.
Yeah.
I was going 2 under. Everyone was angry.
Yes.
That's how you should drive all the time.
Also, because I'm an absolute pussy, I was driving in the left lane. I got a ticket for going slow in the left lane, and I didn't know this, but they can officially revoke my actual birth certificate as a male.
They tore it up, and the officer slugged me.
Yes.
It's totally legal.
Yeah, it's completely legal. I was very surprised because I'm very white.
Yeah, I said, do you know who I am?
Yeah. They said, yeah, you're that asshole who told us to drive 8 miles slower to save money on gas. And he hit me with his nightstick. Now, so you see that, right? Change your driving habits.
Yeah.
Change your driving habits. Here's the thing. This isn't the first time that it's happened. It's so foreign to us. Us, right? People who I'm in my early 30s, maybe you're in your 20s. It's foreign to us because we've never experienced that. Guess what? Gas shortages, gas lines, soaring gas prices. Your parents, remember this, under
70s,
Jimmy Carter.
Yeah,
Happened. And it happened for a multitude of reasons internationally, and we'll get to that too, some failed international policies. But it also happened because of domestic policy. And what happened as a result of that? There was a national 55 miles per hour speed limit.
That's where it came from.
Yes!
It wasn't there before that. You were saying it was something else. Like, what was it? You had
So there were some places that didn't have speed limits. They just had safe and sane was considered the policy.
Well, that's
and then there's like, bargaining where it's like 55. I'm like, how about 65? And then some places got 70.
Yeah.
So we don't have, there should be places with no speed limits.
So we don't have an Autobahn, basically, because
No, we don't.
of this?
No.
Damn it.
Yeah. All because of that shitty reporter. And just go 4 miles less per hour.
Oh, yeah, that's the ticket.
During 9/11, people were arrested for jacking up the gas prices to lower than it is now.
Right, yeah, think about that.
It's amazing.
Do you remember when
Even the oil baron from Fern Gully would be like, that's severe.
Yeah, come on. I'm not trying to hurt everyone.
Yeah.
Right. Barack Obama even said during his gas spike, it's weird how this happens under Democrat-controlled regime. I don't understand it. He said, just make sure you air up your tires.
Yeah.
You remember that advice? No, he's not 100% wrong, but it's like, okay, fine. That'll take, 2 cents off of that? Like, I'll gain 0.02%. Fine.
It's like, just make sure to air up your tires. I'm like, oh, yeah, tell that to half the Senate as I'm stabbing them.
Well,
figuratively.
A lot of gals and lady
yeah.
men don't know how to do that.
Right. Just to be clear, I meant tires.
Tires.
Not stabbing a person. Even then, it's figurative. I would never slash a tire.
Yes, yeah.
Just prices.
Right.
I hate
Put on a happy face. Okay.
No, I won't.
Foreign policy. Well, let's compare Biden to Jimmy Carter. I know.
Sorry. I'm just laughing because
we were watching that. That's a report. What did it say? The average price was $4.17. $4.17.
2 days ago, I think.
It's $4.30 something today.
It's gone up about 50 to 60 cents in the last week, I believe. Yay!
Well,
I'll get fact checked by Reuters just because since coming on this show, the gas price has actually changed. You'd be closer to the price at the beginning of the show playing Plinko. Now,
yeah, well, I'll pay $14 a gallon just as long as I can drive whatever Tesla. Yeah,
I'll pay an extra few dollars a gallon so long as my driver gets me to my place on time.
Yep, I don't care. I don't mind if my Uber's $1,400 to go to the grocery store.
All right. So let's look at foreign policy. This is an important thing. There are a lot of similarities, and not just Russia. We've talked about Russia quite a bit, so I just didn't want to rehash all of that today. I think you know where I stand. Now, Biden said, let's look at Afghanistan, because there's a pretty good parallel here with what happened in Afghanistan and what happened with Jimmy Carter in Iran. He said there were 100 to 200 Americans left in Afghanistan, former Vice President Joe Biden.
Yeah.
Then at a House hearing, Kevin McCarthy said that only 5,400 of 11 to 15,000 Americans had been evacuated. Here's the thing. We don't know the official number. I want to be clear before you fact check. We don't know the official number of Americans who've been evacuated versus the number of Americans who remained there. Biden said there wouldn't be one.
Mm-hmm.
And it's certainly more than, I don't know, give or take a couple dozen that former Vice President Biden gave you. Okay? So there are still Americans stranded in Afghanistan. Let's just agree. And it's more than former Vice President Biden predicted or told you about. That parallels exactly, again, worst president in history up until now, Jimmy Carter, the Iranian hostage crisis. If you guys saw Argo, you know about the crisis, you know about the hostage situation, you know what happened, you know how it started. But what you probably don't know is, I think it was 60-something hostages for
66.
400-something days.
Some people were let go, but
66 hostages.
44 days.
44
It was
days.
the embassy, right?
440.
Yeah, and they were only released when Ronald Reagan took office.
Oh.
Along with the solar panels.
Yep.
So, Biden leaving, effectively, hostages, right? And then Carter, same exact thing. Same exact scenario, just to be clear, which is also emblematic of the respect that we have internationally. Keep in mind, I get that you think a lot of people didn't like Donald Trump, personally, but they thought he was crazy enough to do the crazy shit he said he was going to do.
Yeah, he would have gotten us out of Afghanistan in a much more planned way. Like, if you've heard him talk about it, it's like, guys, this was not rocket science. You don't pull out of the country at this time of year. That's when people go to war.
Yeah.
Like, you do it in a different time of year, and it's much safer for everybody involved.
And you know what else? Even just really quickly, Russia, Ukraine. A lot of people don't realize this. I don't even know how much we've talked about this on the show. You know, Donald Trump said, no, if you're going to do the not Keystone, Nord Stream. You're going to do this through Ukraine, right?
Yeah.
Why? Because it forces them to then not bomb them. And if you don't, okay, I'm gonna bomb you. I hope that's what I just you're telling my head or something like that. I hope I'm crystal clear. And Putin thought like, oh, you're a big talk. He's not all talk. Just he's crazy enough. Wait 3 years.
Yeah. See what happens.
Yeah, internationally, this is what happens when you are dependent on the energy, when you are dependent on let's call it what it is, codependency with countries that would like to see us wiped off the face of the map. The only reason that they don't is because we're powerful enough to mitigate their power. And we also have Democrats like Carter, like former Vice President Biden, who want to eliminate our powerful standing in the world. It's just, is it me? Okay, let's go to inflation. This is one. How does this affect you? Under former Vice President Joe Biden. You all know this. Inflation in the consumer price index is, when you hear me use the term CPI, that's what it means. It's sort of a general measurement. And I'll come back to it because now it's misleading. The CPI now went up 7.9% through February in 2022. Now, you've all heard this, but just so you don't take my word for it, this is the highest, and this is key, the highest inflation rate for a quarter or month in 40 years.
Year over year, 7.9% is the inflation number. That is a 40-year high. Month over month, up 0.8%. That shows that even month to month, inflation is accelerating. It is gas, it is shelter, it is food, groceries. All these things you basically can't live without are rising here. So when you dig into these numbers, you can see just why so many Americans are so sour on the economy on those opinion polls.
That's a good way for me. I'm a little sour.
Yeah.
Sour is not the right word.
Little tummy ache on.
No job, crippling financial woes. Oh, it's a little sour.
No home, can't afford to drive your kids to soccer games, food too expensive.
Got a bad
Need a
flavor.
Tums, maybe a Rolaids.
Leaves a bad taste in my mouth.
Yeah, schnozberry. Now, let's compare. That's a 40-year high. Do the math. 40 years? Oh, it's a 40-year high exactly since the embarrassment that was President Jimmy Carter, where the CPI rose 13.5%. 13.5%, yeah, under Carter in 1980. Now, here's the thing that matters, that a lot of people don't understand, because sometimes the way that we sort of like a vaccine adverse reactions, like we just talked about. You change the numbers, sort of like infant mortality rate. When people say we have a higher one in the United States, it's because we actually count the lives that are lost, whereas they just say that's not a life in a lot of other nations. The CPI, right, the Consumer Price Index, when we're talking about this inflation, Under Carter at 13.5, that included the rising cost of housing.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if you've been paying attention, kind of a big deal today. So the rate that you see of 7% under Biden does not include that. If you adjusted for that for an apples-to-apples comparison, the inflation rate would actually be 11% under former Vice
Almost a
President Joe Biden.
direct responsibility for what they called Reaganomics and treated like it was a bad thing. It was like, so you could still buy a home after what he did to the country.
Right.
Well, do you know what the interest rates were then? You're talking about 3, 4, 5% on a house right now, and you're like, oh, that's crazy. It was in the double digits.
Oh, for sure.
Maybe even some cases 20%. Can you imagine?
Well, that was like every used car lot, too, where it's like you can get a car for only 20%.
Yeah. It's like, holy crap. You have no idea what it's like to live under the mistakes of this kind of administration, but unfortunately, we're about to find out.
Mel Farr in Detroit wore a cape and flew around and gave everybody low prices with a 20%
interest rate
on cars.
Only
like, why you got a
20%?
cape on? You're not super.
At the time it was.
At the time it was, yeah.
It was like, only 20%.
Yeah. It was really, it's like, how do I do it?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. I'm guessing something illegal.
He was the wealthiest black businessman in the world, and he owned a car lot.
Several
That's how
car
bad
lots.
the Jimmy Carter presidency was.
Yeah.
In the Motor City.
Yes, correct.
It's like
That's
you
where
would
they
think,
don't
like,
even have
really?
to ship them to other places.
You just drove out of the parking garage that I overlook from my bombed out crack den. Here, 20%, that's a good deal.
That is
That's
one hell
that's
of
what
a
I'm
deal.
telling you.
Sign me up.
That's what I told you, honey.
They had to tell Don Gooley Cadillac to stop letting drug dealers pay him in cash because they didn't want the high interest rates. They're like, you really are taking a lot of cash for brand new Eldorados. No paper trail. Yeah, he just handed me a wad of money with blood on it.
Yeah.
There's your Fleetwood.
Still spins.
Like, this anthrax or just Coke? Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
good.
fine. I was worried.
So we've gone through what? We've gone through inflation. We've gone through international policy. We've gone through gas prices by themselves, energy prices, because inflation is something that affects everything, and the energy prices are something that sort of exist. Well, they exist as a portion of inflation, but it's an entirely different beast altogether when it's this bad. And keep in mind, too, that with the rising cost of energy, there's that rubber band effect. So you're going to see very likely far worse inflation, and you'll see them try and massage the numbers to tell you that it's not that bad. Kind of like when they told you inflation was a good thing, but now they're telling you that they're going to do something to get costs down and bring down. Well, why do you need to do that if it's a good thing? Again, none of this makes sense. So this brings us to another comparison. The disastrous results, and this is the silver lining, folks, okay? The disastrous results of Jimmy Carter led to what? Led to what? Led to what? Midterms. And in those midterms, I have these numbers in front of me, it was +3, right? They gained, Republicans gained 3 seats in the Senate. They gained 15 in the House, and there were 6 Republican governor wins.
Yeah.
+6 Republican governors. That was considered, until like Barack Obama, that was considered an unbelievable shift in midterms.
Well, and you're about to see it again.
That's okay.
Big time.
So this brings me to my point. Midterms, Jimmy Carter, we don't have them yet. But even the media at this point is trying to soften the blow. It's what psychologists call front-loading, by letting you know that, ooh, this is going to hurt.
President Biden will enter his second year in office after the new year, but he faces a big test. Can he and Democrats hold on to their power? The 2022 midterm elections are expected to be tough for Democrats, according to an average of polls by 538. Mr. Biden's approval rating has dropped to the low 40s.
The NBC News poll at the end of last year, and I'll show you where things were. So, on direction of the country, 70% wrong track. That's in big-time shellacking territory. You look at the presidential job rating as of our last poll here. Hang on a minute, and as you can see, his approval sitting at 42. Again, that would put Democrats in shellacking territory.
In April, it was 88.3. Americans were feeling pretty good about the direction. Early in the Biden administration, they thought COVID was getting better. They thought the economy was getting better. You look at this number now, 70.3 from April to August. That's a big drop. Number two,
it's worse
that
now.
number, if
roughly
it's below,
everybody.
If it's below 80, the incumbent party needs to worry.
31% of Iowans approve of how Joe Biden is handling his duties as president, while a whopping 62% disapprove. This poll then is rightly understood as a blaring red alarm for not just Biden, but especially down ballot Democrats in Iowa and elsewhere who will be running in the 2022 midterms.
Don't you also love how the media just assumes that this concerns you because these are warning bells? No, these are victory bells, bitch. People they assume it. Like, isn't this terrible? And 61% are saying, that's why I said what I said. I'm one of the 60. What are you talking about? Who are you talking to?
Things are about to get better alarm is what's going on.
Yes. Or they're about to get less worse.
Well, yeah. Well.
Less horrible.
Gosh, if they come in and don't do anything, I'm just going to be like, all right, I give up on you.
Yeah, Republicans?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm just glad they got that last guy out.
Yes.
Well.
That $1 for gas and money in the bank. Hell.
Don't get me started on those snippy tweets.
Oh.
Low unemployment. Who needs that?
He said a sexual thing on a bus once.
Yeah, I know.
Son of a bee sting.
And honestly, it even kind of sounded fun. So.
It did. Was it Billy?
Figuratively.
Billy who?
Billy Bush.
Yeah.
Yeah. Billy unemployed.
Who wouldn't want to impress Billy Bush?
Yeah, exactly.
He's just trying to make conversun with Billy Bush.
Yeah.
What would you talk about?
What if he was nervous looking himself in the mirror before, gotta impress Mr. Bush? You only get one first impression. Grab by the pussy, right?
Oh, no. Did I oversell it?
I did it wrong.
Aren't I a card? All right. I'm sorry, Billy. I'm sorry.
That's
really,
awesome.
I'm incorrigible. Excuse me. I'm incorrigible, right? You want to be my friend?
We have to have the self-conscious Trump skit.
Yeah.
That's never happened.
Oh, ever.
Exactly. That's what's funny.
No, that's why you say a sentence like that. Because there's no self-conscious aspects.
I bet you Donald Trump was on the set of Home Alone 2, and they were like, okay, and action! The bathroom's over there.
I did it. Done. Like
Yeah.
Sinatra and Ocean's 11.
They haven't even checked the gate.
Oh, my God.
It's halfway down the hall.
They just tape them now. It's fine.
So this brings me to this is a bonus point here too that I realized. Actually, someone else here brought it to my attention. Jimmy Carter, voter fraud. Now, I'm not referring to at all the safest and most secure election in history.
Ever.
If you're not a member of Mug Club, laddercutter.com/Mug Club. We'll talk about that a little bit more later. But here for all intents and purposes, on YouTube, best election ever.
Best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm such a huge fan.
Yeah, is the Godfather 2 of elections.
Yeah.
Of that, there can be no debate. So, Jimmy Carter was very concerned, though, on an unrelated note, with mail-in voter fraud. He was so concerned with voter fraud and election integrity that Jimmy Carter actually formed the Commission on Federal Election Reform. Which produced, by the way, a 2005 voter fraud report. This was something that he was very concerned about. And another parallel, up until he was told to not say these things anymore. And so he said them for a little bit longer, but then eventually stopped. Former Vice President Joe Biden was really concerned with voter fraud and election integrity.
Secondly, we're in a situation where we have put together, and you guys did it for our the President Obama's administration before this.
Well spoken.
We put together, I think, the most extensive and inclusive voter fraud organization in the history of American politics.
Well, hold on a second.
Love that.
Why would you need that, Joe?
Yeah, do you mean anti-voter fraud, you
Steven,
idiot?
It doesn't exist. We now know this.
We put together the greatest voter fraud team in the entire world. I mean, anti-vote. Yeah, that's what I...
That's like putting a guy in charge of curing cancer who thinks it's a myth.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, the point is, right? Look, they both, so you can comment below. Let me know if there's a comparison here, if there's a similarity that you think I've missed. But to recap it, under Jimmy Carter, we had a horrible economy. It hurt who? The middle class the most. We had unbelievable taxes. We had unbelievable inflation. Our standing in the global marketplace was far worse, to the point where there was a landslide election, almost unprecedented, with Ronald Reagan. And then, of course, you saw this re-election with him. We have this exact same contrast right now with Donald Trump, only in reverse, and President Joe Biden, former Vice President Joe Biden, President Barack Obama. The thing is, here we have Donald Trump, an outsider, sandwiched between 8 years of former Vice President Biden and his ilk, and then another 4 years. And I do think it will be 4 years.
There's no way.
I mean, unless his voter fraud organization isn't worth its salt.
Unless it gets into high gear.
I believe you can understand the implication.
These guys are terrible.
He's the most popular president ever.
You know what pisses me off too? We said this. We knew this going into it. We told you this was going to happen. Donald Trump is looking like he's clairvoyant, calling the shot before it happens. $7 gas is heading your way. Like, we knew this was going to happen. How did you think this was going to end?
Oh, so I grabbed clairvoyant. RiderWithCutterShop.com if you want to buy some of these shirts. I'm sorry. I hate to Jimmy Fallon that. I couldn't.
It was worth it.
I gave it the old college try.
Yours was genuine. His is not.
No.
So.
Who could have seen this coming? Half the country.
Yeah. If not more. People wanted to be right.
Careful. I mean, not half. Not.
No, I mean,
what I mean is, who could have seen this coming? Almost half the country.
Well, more
Less
people
than half.
saw this coming and voted for the guy they thought would prevent it than have voted for anybody in history other than the guy running against that guy.
The only people who could have seen this coming were 18 out of the 19 bellwether counties, which no president has won and lost an election since 1980. My point is, there are some people who could have seen this coming, but not enough to have voted for the man in record numbers who said this was coming. So let's just be really clear. All references available at louderwithcrowder.com. I hate big tech so much. I hate that this is where we are, where people have to be careful with the truth. Tess Holliday has to be less careful telling people that she's anorexic and that people should go to their doctor and bitch about discrimination. If he says you might want to be less than 400 pounds, she is less worried about medical misinformation than we are reporting on documents from the FDA by court order. That's the world you live in.
I think you should have actors playing doctors when they go in.
Yeah.
Like not actual medical professionals.
Patrick Dempsey.
To pay for it. They just walk in and they're like, oh, I'll play and make believe this room.
Yeah, exactly.
This one's doing actual surgery. I'll pretend you're anorexic.
He's just like some actor who needs a character device who's always using the defibrillator, the paddle, well, we're losing him. I'm just here for
George Clooney.
Yeah. Back when he was still doing the head bob.
Are we still on YouTube, by the way? We've said some, very true things.
Very true. I mean,
we're still on.
I know we're still on TikTok, which is incredible because we're actually trying to kick
so
off.
this is something we have actively been trying to get removed from TikTok because I don't like the communist Chinese. And unfortunately, we just keep racking up because we had been banned from TikTok like 4 times.
Yeah.
And now once we started this mission and this hashtag, trash TikTok, we just rack up tens of millions of views. So we are going to go all in today because I have failed you. It's time to trash TikTok. All right. Have to balance
that on
this.
the whole time?
Oh my gosh, how do they do this on a Honda Cub with 9 chicken coops?
They don't wear the headphones.
They just make them.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. I've been trying to get banned from TikTok really quickly. Now, TikTok just put in some new rules. I want to make sure that I get this right.
Helpful.
New rules about misinformation. Okay? Which helps us here. Misinformation. Well, I'll read it as the writers of Son of a Bitch. I'll read it as the writers for TikTok probably right. Misinformation is defined as content that is inaccurate or false. We will remove misinformation that causes significant harm to our individuals, community, or the larger public regardless of intent. Significant harm includes serious physical injury, illness, death, severe psychological trauma, large-scale property damage, and undermining of public trust in civic institutions and processes. Processes? How would they say it? I don't know. Processes such as governments, elections, and scientific bodies, like a Wuhan lab or the Communist Party ruling China.
Other than that.
Son of a bitch. This is a very...
That's hard. That's
you know what,
difficult.
guys?
Yeah, take
it off. Take it off.
But, hey, budget for another rice patty hat.
Can you even hear that?
Oh, now it looks like a bonnet, like Little House on the Prairie.
A little bit peevish.
All right. I assume you still have the stereotypical
playing.
music? Okay.
It's playing.
Yes. It's
all right, TikTok.
And it's brilliant. You ready?
This is going on TikTok, right? We're ready? Okay.
Yes,
you got the
there we
floor.
go.
There you go.
From 1279 to 1368, China was ruled by the Mongols. TikTok During World War II, Mao's commies hid away in the hills like the cowards that they were, while Chinese nationalists fought the Japanese. Also, Mao's commies killed millions of people during the Cultural Revolution. Taiwan's GDP per capita is nearly 3 times larger than China's because they're better than you. Communist Chinese Party, just to be clear, not the citizens of China. By Communist Chinese Party, I mean owners of TikTok. China is the 3rd worst country, by the way, in the world for human trafficking. At the beginning of the COVID outbreak, which China caused, landlords in Guangzhou kicked dozens of Africans out of their homes for no apparent reason, just so you guys know. So that's just in case you thought that there was no racism in China. China steals about $600 billion worth of IP from the United States every year. TikTok, you know this is true. TikTok, I'm on your platform. You better come out and pound me. Chinese street vendors use gutter oil to cook their food, commonly referred to as human shit. China loves harvesting organs from a plethora of minority groups when they're not kicking them out of homes.
I just thought it was funny.
Okay.
I don't know why.
Jeet Kune Do's dumb and Mike Tyson would kick the ever-loving crap out of Bruce Lee. Now, here's something this is also a problem. I have to navigate this. So the next few facts that I have, and again, the hashtag is trash TikTok. So please go. I want all of you to do your best as well. The next few facts that I have pertaining to the new TikTok rules are actually not only a violation of TikTok, but could be a violation of YouTube. Specifically. So this is the thing. You don't think that you don't think that they're in cahoots? They're 3 doors down from each other. At least I assume they have an office there.
maybe.
Is the undermining of public trust in civic institutions and processes such as governments, elections, and scientific bodies. Now, I don't necessarily know how that works because some of the things that I want to say, it's about the Communist Chinese government and the American Communist government. So I want to be banned from TikTok, but I don't want to be banned from YouTube. So we're going to continue this segment and then, of course, upload it to TikTok on Mug Club, just not on YouTube. So leave a comment below if you want to let the TikTok overlords know that you hate them. It's Chat Thursday, louderofcredit.com/Mug Club. YouTube, you know exactly why you can piss off.